everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Prosecutors After Dark. It's dark here in Prosecutors Land, and we're still here. I'm Brett. Roll Tide, Alice.
And I'm Alice.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, I cut you off, but that may be a feature, not a bug. Oh,
right
sorry about that.
In the heart, but it's okay. It's okay.
It is. Your elephant-shaped heart.
My elephant-shaped heart. Roll Tide, Alice. I know you enjoyed the football game this weekend.
That was some good footballing, only because Auburn, they are able...
Auburn won yet
I
another
laughed
moral
because
victory.
it was so true.
I love it.
The announcer was like, Auburn finds a way to lose. And I was like, that's such a good way to put it, because it's almost as if they find a way to lose.
I mean, the thing about Auburn this year, and I do want to talk about football over here, but Auburn is, I do not mean this as a dig at all. They are the best 5-7 team you're ever going to find. I mean, they could have won any of those games. They could have
really
won
could
them
have.
all. They didn't lose a single game by more than, including like Georgia, Alabama, Vanderbilt, Missouri. I mean, these are all teams that are really good teams.
They found ways to lose.
They did.
Like, if you rolled a dice, you would win more
I think
times.
of all those teams, Alabama might be the only team they weren't ahead of at some point. Like, they were,
Right.
They had
That's actually a good
Georgia
point.
beat, and then and they had Vanderbilt beat. You know, the only game they were really terrible in was Kentucky, which got the coach fired, which is understandable because Kentucky is bad, right? But, like, it is crazy. I've never seen a team. The only game they won that they shouldn't have won was Arkansas. They were behind and they got like 2 pick sixes or something. But frankly, they deserved that because they just, everything went wrong that could go wrong. Oklahoma cheated to win. Like, they had, like, I mean, and of course the SEC referees, who are the worst, missed it when it happened. You know, like, I don't know. I mean, as an Alabama fan, obviously, I enjoyed each one of those games.
I wasn't upset because it was so like, are you kidding me? Like,
yeah.
I would be almost a little mad if you won because this is just ridiculous.
But the problem with it, from our perspective, was like, this team's a lot better than everybody thinks it is. Like,
but
they're not actually a bad team, and we got to go.
They're
there
not a bad team at all. They're a really good team. They just are so good at finding ways to lose.
Maybe with the new coach, who's a communist, by the way. You know, it's so funny. So, and it's hilarious. When I was reading the story, like, so their new coach, Auburn's new coach, is a Russian immigrant, right? And you might think, oh, you know, family. And he tells a story about his family fleeing from Russia. And you're thinking, oh, man, yeah, this story of, like, freedom. And he's, like, talking about how, like, yeah, you know, when the tanks rolled into Red Square, we had to flee. And it's like, hold on. Wait a second. When the tanks rolled into Red Square, those were the freedom fighters. Like, turns out, like, his family were like big in the military, like high-ranking officers in the Soviet government. So when they fled Russia, they fled in much the way like Bashir fled
when
Syria.
The tanks rolled in.
Like, so, but whatever, you know. Welcome to Alabama.
It's okay. I was gonna say also, can you play ball? Come on
that's
over.
all that matters. I mean, let's be clear.
And that was a crazy stat, though. What did they say? Like, between the two teams, 92 of the kids had played against each other in Alabama.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of amazing, though.
Love,
That's like, that like gets you in the feels.
Yeah, you know.
Because they were all like hugging.
Oh yeah, they all known
afterwards.
each other their whole lives.
They've all grew up
The
playing ball
fans
together.
hate each other much more than the players do.
Than the
and the players
players,
could, a lot of them, they could have gone to either place, and it was just
right, absolutely.
which school had a scholarship.
They played each other in high school. They were on the same teams.
We used to have a player
some
who had
of
like
them-
a big Auburn tattoo because he'd grown up a huge Auburn fan, but he went to Alabama.
That's funny. That's funny. Like, one of them went to our school here, graduated from there, and it was like, it's just cool to be like, yeah, we know him. We watched him play 2 years ago.
So what are your thoughts on the playoff, Alice? Well, we're here talking about football.
Playoffs. Playoffs.
Man, I got lots of thoughts about them. I think they're terrible.
Yeah, go. Tell me about your thoughts about the playoffs.
Well, like, you know, football's the greatest sport in the world. It just is.
It actually is.
It's just the greatest sport.
It is terrible for people's brains.
You know, sacrifices have to be made.
My kids will not be playing it because they're too small and their brains they're going to be too weak for it. But it is the most exciting game to watch.
And the NFL, because of how it's structured, has a pretty good way of determining a champion. You know, you got like 32 teams. They play each other, they play in Super Bowl. That's great, right? And most sports have a pretty good way of determining a champion. But football, especially college football, is uniquely situated in a place where it's basically impossible to have a good way to figure out a champion. Because think about it, like basketball, frankly, the NCAA tournament's kind of but nevertheless, like a lot of times, you'll have sports that have series and you have to win best 2 out of 3. And like, that's a really good way to figure out who's best because fluky games don't necessarily decide series and everything else. And maybe
this is one hit wonder, man.
Yeah, you can't do that in football because of all the reasons you just said. You just can't play that much. And you have so many teams and they're from all over the country and they play these completely different schedules and they're not standardized at all. I mean, you have teams like Ohio State. Ohio State, who's obviously a very good team, captain, if you're listening. OH, yeah, whatever. Very good team. They played 2 games this year. They played Texas in the first game. They were ranked. And then they played Michigan in the last game, and they were ranked. And that's it. Everybody in between there was just like cupcake central. But that's just how their schedule fell out. They didn't have to play Oregon. They didn't have to play USC. They didn't have to play like any of the good teams in the Big Ten, and it's like, how does that compare? Like, how do you even know? Anyway, so we've come up with this like wackadoodle way of doing it with this new playoff with 12 teams. But the problem is we have the dumbest people in the world on the committee trying to figure this out. I mean, they are complete and utter morons. They have no idea what they're doing. And it's like, how is it possible that you have this multi-billion-dollar sports industry decided by idiots? And it's not just that they're stupid, though they are, but they're also just completely unsituated for this. Like, it's like presidents of universities, or ADs.
Like, what does that
of
have anything to do with it? There are, like, what is it? Is it 30 Rock? Yeah, 30 Rock that does like, is it? No, Kimmy Schmidt. I think it's Kimmy Schmidt that does like a hilarious play on all these commissioners who are just like rich people who know nothing about ball. And they call it like the football game, right? And they're the ones making all the decisions. That's kind of what's happening. That's kind of
what's happening. Yeah. And so like today, we benefited from this today, but I just want to note for all you hypocrites out there are too many people out there who cannot criticize the system when it benefits them. And that's why the system never changes. And last year, Alabama got left out of the playoff for all sorts of stupid reasons. And all of y'all loved it because Alabama got left off. But now the idiots are favoring Alabama. So we moved up in the rankings today, which almost certainly... I don't
understand. I really actually don't understand.
It almost certainly means we're going to make the playoff no matter what happens against Georgia. But nevertheless, the reason that... So they interview the head idiot who runs the committee. And he's like, oh, well, Alabama went down to Jordan-Hare, and that's a tough place. Just ask, Vanderbilt. Well, number one, Auburn didn't play Vanderbilt at Jordan-Hare. Auburn played Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt. So already questioning your knowledge of of what's going on.
The thing you're ahead of.
Basically, they moved us ahead of Notre Dame. But and his reasoning was like, well, they had a really gutsy 4th and 2 call. It's like... So you're deciding where...
Based on one play.
Based on one play.
Based on one play. That if it went terribly, what are you going to move them down?
I mean, it would still have been gutsy. Like even if they hadn't made it. And they should be ahead of Notre Dame. For the same reason, Notre Dame, they've played 2 tough teams and they lost to both of them. Right? Sorry if you're a Notre Dame fan. Great, you beat USC. Whoop-de-la-de-da. I mean, but they should be ahead of Notre Dame, but they haven't been ahead of Notre Dame this whole time. And to move them ahead of Notre Dame for this stupid reason.
4 and 2.
Yeah, it's like the dumbest thing in the world, and it just undermines the whole thing.
It was like kind of gutsy, but not. It was good strategy. It wasn't like it was the 4th quarter. It was like the 1st quarter, second quarter.
It was the 4th quarter. He's talking about the 4th quarter.
Oh, it was 4th.
You're talking about earlier one.
Wow. Yeah. But that's what football is. Gutsy plays.
Well, it's just like, but it tells you that this person doesn't know anything about football. And the way you can tell that someone doesn't know about football is they talk about individual games as if that tells you something. It'll be like, they'll say things like, well, Alabama had a really bad game against X, and they only beat them by 7 points, and X wasn't very good, and so therefore, it's like, no, you have no idea what you're talking about, because football in particular is a game where you're going to have really bad games, or the other team just plays better because the differences in talent aren't that much, and the fact that you managed to win those tough games actually is impressive, right?
So do they just make a lot of money being... head idiot?
Well, head idiot is either the president or the athletic director at Arkansas. So, number one, he didn't know anything about football. But sorry, Arkansas. Look at your new coach. So he doesn't know what he's talking about. But the people in charge, like, you could do this in a way that made sense. I mean, frankly, probably the best way to do it would be to, like, make it all retired head coaches.
Yeah, that would make total sense. Like, truly, that would make sense.
Yeah, like that would be the way to do it. But, instead you have this, like, weird, it's kind of like we have this is a totally different thing, but the way we pick magistrate judges in our district, I don't know if you know this, Alice, it's not just that the judges pick, which would make sense. They're like random members of the community. So for like the longest time,
I think I did.
There was a dude
this.
who owns a car dealership who's on the committee.
Actually, when I found this out, I remember being like,
yeah,
what?
It's like,
this is not democracy.
What does he know about? It should just be the judges. Like, what does he know about
who use them?
Judge? Exactly. But anyways, it's stuff like that. Like, why are you putting these people on there? Anyways, but that's the system we have, so that's what we're stuck with. Anyway,
well, there you go.
That was a long rant.
Anyways,
I guess that's what this
congratulations.
is all about. But
but despite them not knowing anything, it's still a billion-dollar industry, which is like incredible.
Well, they inherited that, I mean,
but it's not going. I mean, I hope it doesn't go anywhere because I do love football. But
well, they're doing everything they can to screw it up. I'll say this, like whether it's NIL, or the transfer portal, or the playoff, or like it's all just a mess right now. I don't know how to fix it.
Well, how do we get who can we get to vote for you to be on the commission?
Yeah. I think we need a commissioner of college football, and it should be Nick Saban. That's the way it should be.
I do agree with that, actually.
Make it Nick Saban and
so
Urban
good at what he
Meyer
does.
if you want to have some diversity. But anyway, this has been all me talking. I feel like you need to talk. I've talked too much. I talked too much.
Just enough. I think that is fantastic. I don't even know what to talk about. No one threw up on me today. Thanksgiving just happened.
Oh yeah. How was that?
It was great. It was long. It was a whole week. And my second child, who you guys know as Squanto, loves Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right.
But unfortunately, he got sick on Wednesday.
No.
Okay, I'm going to describe to you the saddest, most heartwarming, sad story you'll ever hear. So he's the male Pollyanna, right? He is just, everything's rainbows and puppies, but also he has an intense, he's also like, gets angry a lot, but he's such a bright personality. And he comes home on Wednesday and he's like, I don't feel good. Projectile vomits everywhere. I was like, oh my gosh. And he projectile vomits like another 10 times that night. And I was like, oh Lord, you're like real sick. So put him to bed. He's so sick. And he had been so excited all week to help me cook Thanksgiving. Like, he was like, can I mash the potatoes? Can I cut the green beans? Can we get ham? Can we get 2 kinds and put honey on one of them? I was like, we can do whatever you want. So I bought everything. He was going to make Thanksgiving dinner with me because he literally laid out his Squanto costume and his pilgrim costume. And he said, can I start in the pilgrim costume and then can I change at lunch and then I'll change back for dinner? And I was like, you can do whatever you want. Like, he had Thanksgiving planned out, right? And so he is projectile vomiting all night. And it is the saddest thing ever. Literally, like, a drop of water will touch his mouth and it projectile vomits out. Like, nothing could touch his lips. And so he wakes up the next morning. He is not well at all. He is just like a sack of potatoes. And so I set him up like a little pillow and a blanket next to me in the kitchen so he can watch me cook. It's so sad. So I'm cooking and he cannot move. And he's like, you're doing great, Mom. Oh. And so we make the whole meal, like do the whole thing, huge turkey, ham, all this food, and it's on the table. And when I think I've told you guys this before, when my kids throw up, there's a special couch that they lay on. It's a leather couch so that I can wipe it off.
Do they put
when
the
they
toilet
vomit
seat
on
up
it.
Or down?
Always up, man. Always up. And so he's laying on the throw up couch, which is the leather couch. Don't sit on it when you come over to my house. And which is right next to the dining room. So he can hear us, but he can't see us. And so like family's over, we're all eating and he's laying on the throw up couch and he cannot move. He's like feverish, projectile vomiting. And at one point I walk over to like get something from the kitchen and he has quite literally like Alex Mack liquided to the floor. And he had his head on a pillow on the hardwood floor. And every couple minutes, he would push himself with his toes 1 inch closer to the table. And it took him about 30 minutes, but he pushed himself right under my feet. And then he literally crawled up, army crawled, because he couldn't move his body, into the chair, because I had still, of course, set his table with a wooden spoon. And it was there. And then he looked at the wooden spoon, and he broke out into a huge smile, and he said, "My spoon." I literally almost started crying right there. I was like, I had thought about not setting his place because like there was no way he was going to eat. But I was like, I got to set out his wooden spoon. And so he just sat there and he got all of the, he couldn't move. So I put all the food. I was like, do you want mashed potatoes? He's like, yes. And I put all the food on his plate. And he knew he couldn't eat any of it. And so he got really close to it and he goes, "It smells just like the first Thanksgiving." And you can't laugh because it's like the saddest thing in the world, right? And I was like, "Yeah, it does, buddy." And he goes, "Squanto taught them that they needed to put space between the corn so it would grow when they put the fish in the soil." And I was like, "Save your breath, child. Save your breath." And then it was so, I'm not making any of this up. And like, he's like feverishly red. He's like kind of hallucinating. He's like talking, but like, he's not really making sense. And so after he sat there for like 5 minutes, I was like, "Do you want me to carry you back to the couch?" And he was like, "Yeah." So I carried him back to the throw-up couch, covered him back up, and I took his plate, it had not been touched, and I wrapped it in saran wrap and like didn't change it and put it right into the fridge. And I brought it out for him the next day. He was too sick to eat it. But here's the sweetest part. I put him to bed that night, and he'd been like, laying for 24 hours. And I said, "Hey, how was your day?" He goes, "It was the best Thanksgiving ever."
Oh, let that be a lesson to all you complainers out there. That's great.
No. Anyways, he's better now, but I think he had the flu. Those of you who remember, he had flu really bad the past 2 years, so bad that he lost the ability to walk. So I think I recognize it now. I think he had the flu again. For some reason, man, flu A just wipes him out. Nobody else got it in my family.
I went to the doctor today and asked for a flu shot, and they're like, "We don't have any."
Isn't it like prime flu shot season?
It is. Well, you know what they said? And I don't want to interrupt you. Was there anything else you want to say?
No, I'm done. There's no more sadness to add to that story.
Did people come over to your house? Because I got to say, if I showed up to your house and Squanto was throwing up on the throw up couch, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm just gonna.
So we told everyone that he was he threw up all night, but he didn't throw up the rest of the time. That's why I think it was flu A, that it was not the stomach bug. So he didn't throw up the rest of the time. So he was on the throw up couch, but he was not throwing up. He was hugging a bowl, so it was very possible that he would have.
Yeah, so I go to the doctor, and they're like, "Have you had your flu shot yet?" And I was like, "Actually, no," and I was hoping to get it today. And they're like, "Well, we don't have a flu shot." And then they explained that like they used to have the flu shot, but they lost a ton of money on it because apparently the Publix in town, if you go get a flu shot there, they give you a $15 gift card, so everybody goes there for it. And I was like,
"What? Well, so they just don't get flu shots?" Because
they get them, but they go to Publix to get them.
Well, I mean,
they don't buy any. Yeah, they don't buy any.
They don't buy.
They said they would just expire. They would sit there in our refrigerator and expire. We'd lose all this money on them. So I was like, well, I guess I'll have to go somewhere. I did get a tetanus shot, for what that's worth.
Why? Did you step on a nail?
No, I just hadn't had one. Have we talked about my doctor? Look.
I'm very confused.
My doctor.
Yeah. Your doctor is the one who tells you not to eat meat, right?
If the doctor is listening, I won't say her name, but if she's listening, she wants you to know I appreciate you. This is not an attack. But my doctor has very idiosyncratic ways of looking at nutrition and health. So the first time I went to her, I was like, The first time I went to her, they do the blood test, they get your finger in it. Well, actually, I told this story that the first time I went, the nurse asked me if I smoked, and I was like, "Have I not told this story?" So the nurse asked me if I smoked, and I said, "Nah, I mean I smoke a cigar like once a year when Alabama beats Tennessee," and she was like, "Well, if you've ever smoked before, I have to put yes. And if I put yes, it could go back to your insurance company and it could lead to higher costs." So she's like, "So I'm going to ask you again. Have you ever smoked?" And I was like, "Nope, never smoked a day in my life." And she's like, "Thank you." And she puts it down. And I was like, okay, this is already interesting. But anyways, so my doctor comes in and she's going through like the blood test, whenever she's like, "Oh, you're I don't know. What is it? What is the diabetes test? Like A1C?
Glucose? Oh, okay.
Whatever.
Yes.
Is really low." And I was like, "Oh, awesome. I can eat more candy then." Yeah, make a joke. And she's like, "Actually, yeah, sugar has nothing to do with diabetes." And I was like, she's like, "Yeah, it's a common myth. Like carbohydrates, nothing to do with diabetes. It's all animal fat." And I was like,
"Oh, no, she didn't."
"Really?" And she's like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh yeah, it's like animal fat." Well, it turns out she's like basically a vegan, right? I mean, she is a vegan. And so she's all about veganism, and she believes that eating meat is the cause of everything that's wrong with you. And it's not just, I mean, she literally today, she had written on the whiteboard. I sent this to some people. She had not written it. I mean, I don't know when she wrote it. She didn't write it for me, but on the whiteboard was written all this stuff about diabetes. And it was like, not sugar, not carbohydrates, foods that are high in saturated fat. And then she listed them. And it was all the meats, including fish, chicken, turkey. I'm sorry. Chicken and turkey are not high.
Those are the lean meats.
In saturated fat. They're just not. Like, there's not a world
no, they're not.
in which eating a baked potato is better for you than having a boiled chicken.
It can't possibly be right.
It can't possibly be right.
She's not going to like my freezer with a half gallon.
Yeah, and she's like, so basically her thing is like, no meat at all, no dairy at all. And it's not for some sort of like ethical reason. It's just, this is what if
that's what's bad.
If we just stopped eating fish.
Aren't there documentaries about people who like do this and only eat berries and die at like 25?
Well, she has a whole list of books and documentaries she wants you to watch that are all about why you shouldn't eat meat at all. And I'm just always like, my position is,
yeah, what do you say? Because
I'm always like,
you eat meat.
I'm always like, I get what you're saying, but not really me. Like, I am going to continue to eat. So maybe we could work. And she's always like, well, I'd rather you read this book and learn why you shouldn't eat meat, but I'll put you on a statin instead. I'm like, okay, like whatever. But I don't know. It's just like,
that's bizarre. I remember this now because when I asked you if you had a doctor, because I was looking for a doctor, you told me about her, and I was like, I don't know that we'd get along.
And the other thing, like, the physical is so basic. Like, she basically listens to my heart and listens to my breathing, and we're good. And I'm kind of like, I don't know. I feel like physical.
Maybe listen to some more things. Maybe make sure my stomach and intestines are in the right place.
Well, she kind of like, she kind of does that a little bit, but not much. She's just like, is everything working all right? I'm like, yeah. Everything's good. She's like, okay.
But don't take my word for it. You're the doctor.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, she's very nice. She's an Alabama fan. It's important to me. And when I got COVID, she just gave me whatever drugs I wanted. Didn't have to come in and see her.
Well, that's nice. She probably didn't want to get COVID.
She probably didn't. But like, it's always an adventure going down there. But I did get my tetanus shot. And she thought I should get a tetanus shot because I hadn't had one in a while. So now I have a tetanus shot.
Wow.
So if I get tetanus,
that actually is good because Mr. Alice was at his checkup. No, well, he was at the doctor and, the doctor was like, you are due for a tetanus shot. You should get it. And he's like, I'll deal with it later. He should have gotten it there. I don't know why he didn't. He's like, I'll get it later. So he didn't. And this was like a week later. He's at home with the kids because I'm traveling. That's what it was. Because I get this like kind of cryptic text. I'm on the airplane and he's like, what time do you get in again? I tell him the time. I'm like, I get it. Being alone with the 4 kids is a lot. And I was like, yeah, I'll be home in like 3 hours. And he's like, okay. And then a couple hours later, he's like, are you almost home? I'm like, I'm like an hour away. It's okay. When you get here, I'm going to go to like dock in a box. I was like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm going to go get a tetanus shot. And I'm like right now on the weekend after I just got back? And I was like, what happened? He's like, nothing. Don't worry about it. So I get home and I was like, what happened? And he was like, he stepped on a nail.
There you go.
There you go. Because he was like chasing the kids, stepped on a nail, and then he was like, and then I couldn't get it out of my head. I was like, I should have gotten that tetanus shot last week.
Nobody wants to lockjaw.
There you go. And I was like, is it a rusty nail? He goes, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really matter at that point. And so then he went and like waited at a dock in the box to get a tetanus shot. So good thing you got it is basically what I'm saying.
Well, like I got the last tetanus shot I got back in 2013 when I did the big round the world trip.
Yes.
And like,
is it every 10 years you're supposed to get it? Something like that?
Yeah, it is. And so I was due one, which, I got bit by that dog like 6 years later. And so I didn't worry about tetanus because I was
covered.
But it's funny, you think about money and healthcare. When I was going on that trip, we're going to Southeast Asia, we're going to Singapore, we're going to Vietnam, we're going to Cambodia, we're going to Thailand, going to China. And the doctor's like, well, there's this disease that's in those areas. And if you get it, you'll die. But we have a vaccine for it, but it's $800. And I was like, I'll take my chances.
I thought you were going to be like, I guess I'll get paid $800.
Nope. No, I was like, no, I'm going to roll the dice on this one. Hopefully I won't be bit by that mosquito, right? But it is just kind of...
That is kind of crazy.
Yeah. I got vaccinated for all sorts of stuff when I went over there, though.
I bet.
That's when I did the malaria. I told the malaria story before.
The malaria
That's when I got the malaria drugs.
Malaria drugs are wild.
Yeah.
I've taken them twice, and both times. Technicolor, man. World in Technicolor. So I feel like I still have dreams remembering what it was like.
See, I wanted those dreams. I didn't get them. All I got was the emotion. All I got was the cry.
I can describe them in detail to you because they are vivid, man.
Yeah.
Anyways.
My speaks dreams. My little boy yesterday, he woke up and he was like, I had the best dream last night. And I was like, oh, what made your dream so great? And he goes, well, Nyla was in it. Nyla's the name of my dog.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, God.
No.
Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
So
Kids
sad.
kill you.
They really do. They really do kill you.
But anyways, so Sophie, she says that lockjaw scared her so bad.
That was like quicksand.
It was tetanus.
It was.
I don't know what it was about tetanus in particular.
I don't even exactly know what lockjaw was, but I was like, I'm going to be stuck in quicksand and my jaw's going to be stuck open, and that's going to be how I die.
Like, if you stepped on a nail, like, you're going to get tetanus.
And it was immediate. Immediate, you were going to get it, and then sink into a quicksand.
Honestly, I don't even know. Like, I don't know anything about tetanus. I got the vaccine. Like, do you die if you get it? I mean, is it just like...
Or is it just like really uncomfortable?
Mind, tetanus and rabies were like right next to each other.
Right.
Like,
but rabies, you die.
If you got... But when growing up, I thought if you got either one of those diseases, you died.
Agreed. And
I have no idea if that's true or not. Like, if you get tetanus, I don't know if you die or not. And they're both similar in that if you step on a nail... You can still get the vaccine and you're fine. Just like if you're bit by a rabid dog, you can still get the vaccine and you're fine. But at some point, I guess you can't because then you have it.
Once it takes effect.
Die then? I mean,
yeah, I guess so. I guess you do. Man, that's crazy. There was a story I was going to tell, but I forget now. I don't know. Baby Brittany, she's not a baby anymore, says the darndest things. So she was saying something and I used
to write them down whenever.
I know. That's why I have to tell them on these things, because this is going to be my like living journal of these sorts of stories, because I will forget everything that they say. But it is very, very
I was thinking
sweet.
20 years when we're still doing this, we're going to look back on these videos when we're all sexy and young.
No, we'll be like, happened? Oh, in fact, we weren't really tired back then. We look way better now after having slept. Yeah, I've been woken up by some variation of kids at 4 a.m. for the last 4 days. Once you start sleeping again after having a baby, and then you get woken up in
it's
the middle
the
of the
worst.
night, it's the
Yeah.
worst. It's like you can't do it again.
I can't remember what we're calling my newest daughter. What are we calling her? Bralice?
Bralice, yes.
Bralice has been very difficult lately when it comes to
I
sleeping.
heard, because I got to
And
have
like-
lunch with Mrs. Brett today.
That's
you know?
right. And it's rough. I need my beauty sleep.
Well, so I think she's going through what Allison is going through, which is immense teething. Did I tell you I took him
No,
to
that's
2 emergency doctors?
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, because I was like, surely something is wrong because this is like not normal. Screaming his face off. I was about to get on an airplane. So I was like, I have to take him to the doctor. Like something is horribly wrong with him. He's fine. He's growing 8 teeth at one time. Literal 8 teeth are erupting at the same time.
Oh, God.
And he has what is supposedly common eruption cysts, which is exactly what it sounds like, fluid-filled balls in your mouth.
Oh, God,
but
that
his
sounds
were
painful.
so big, it was like a balloon. He couldn't close his mouth. So he had like a blister poking out of his teeth, his gums, and they were so big he could not close his mouth. And of course that hurts. And we went to the pediatric dentist and they were like, yeah, totally normal. And I was like, this is normal? This? And they're like, actually, I was like, there's no infection? And they're like, no, like this is normal. I was like, okay. I mean,
They
like,
still like drain them or
no, because I think that causes an infection. Or so like Tylenol, Motrin, nothing worked. I mean, this kid had all the painkillers and it was still like, he screamed like a banshee for hours at a time. This is, yeah. So I'm thinking maybe Bralice has the same thing because like, and then I looked in his mouth and it looked like a war zone because then all the eruption cysts popped at the same time and it was just like a bloody mess in there. it was so gross. Anyway, so that's yeah, it was.
It's funny how many of our shows just devolve into like bodily fluid.
Because this is our stage of life.
It is.
What can I say? Okay, so let's talk about some happy things. It's the holiday season.
It is.
I have a girls' Christmas pajama party night that I'm going to.
Oh, wow.
Very excited.
That's awesome. We put up the tree. We got our tree yesterday.
Awesome.
Kids were putting lights
Did
on
you-
tonight.
This is a good question. In a perfect world, I would love a real tree. But the reality of where my life is I do fake trees for the
I
ease
grew
of it.
up doing fake trees.
And I know you love, I do
So
too.
now I get real
Just-
trees.
I just can't. There's too much going on. I don't know what we're going to do this year because Allison is so mobile. Brittany was amazing. She didn't try to pull down ornaments. She didn't try to mess with the lights. She was just like, respect. I like this tree. And she left it alone. I can already tell that Allison is going to like wreak havoc as soon as we put a tree up. So I'm kind of delaying it.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit with Bralice, but we'll just grab her when she gets close. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I love the real tree. I like the real tree.
I love the real tree. I think when I don't have small children in my, like, that I have to take care of all the time, that will absolutely be the thing I go back to. Because we had real trees before we had kids.
It's just fun. You know, you
It's
go
so-
down
it
and get
smells
the tree.
great.
It
It's
smells
wonderful.
great. Put it up. Kids love it.
We're actually going to go to a Christmas tree farm this weekend.
Now, I'll say this. When we take the easy way out, we go to Home Depot.
I don't
right?
think that's easy because have you tried to cut down a tree? It's hard. It's like real hard.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The Home Depot, you don't have to cut them down. They just like come to you.
They
you go to
are.
a tree farm, you got to come down. So
Costco
with
has
the
trees
first-
this year. Did you see?
Do they really?
That's new.
Oh,
I mean,
wow,
it's like
didn't know
the
that.
exact same. It's like an 8-foot, there's no variety. But I mean, way to go, Costco.
The first year we lived here, we went to a Christmas tree farm. It was actually the same.
That's the one
of
we're going to this weekend.
Okay, there you
It's
go.
like an event, right? Like you can
Right,
go cut
you
down your
go
Christmas
and
tree,
you
but
cut
you
the
like
tree
see
down
Santa and do a little sleigh ride.
It's like a Hallmark movie, basically.
It really is.
I watched a Hallmark movie last night. It's called The Christmas Cup. It's a new Hallmark
Sounds
movie.
great. I'm probably gonna go watch one after this because 'tis the season, man. I'm so
Christmas
excited.
Cup. It was fine. It was stupid, but it was like
But I like the stupid.
I like the
ones.
stupid ones too.
I really do.
It was good. I mean, I actually enjoyed it. It wasn't as dumb. I talked about this one on Twitter a little bit, and I want to keep you on that, but I do want to talk about this movie. It's called Finding Santa, and It was so stupid. It was so dumb. It was like, it just didn't make any
Check
sense.
the North Pole.
So basically, town that loves Christmas, right? So I have a bingo card that I do. I've shared it with Alice before, but I have a bingo card.
It's a good one.
And basically, I put a whole bunch of things that randomizes it. You know, you don't always get the same ones, but it's all the sort of beats of the Hallmark Christmas movies. And so one of them is town that loves Christmas. So we start in a town that loves Christmas. And one of them is putting on or saving a Christmas event. They're having their famous parade. And this year, their famous parade is going to be featured on a national television broadcast. It's going to bring all this tourism to the town and save it. And because they're a town that loves Christmas, they also just so happen to have one of the world's greatest Santas, who not only is a great Santa, but has started a Santa school in the town. So he runs the Santa school. So he's going to be the Santa, obviously.
This actually sounds like a great movie.
But in the opening act, he slips and falls and breaks his arm. So he can't do the Santa thing, right? So, but all of his Santas who graduated from Santa school, they're already booked other places, obviously, because it's Christmas. And so our heroine is trying to figure out, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to find a Santa this late in the season? And they're like, well, there is one Santa. And, you know, Santa's like, no, Mrs. Claus, not him. And Mrs. Claus is like, yes, Santa. I can't remember Santa's actual name. It's our son, Ben. So Ben had gone to Santa school and had been like the greatest student to ever go through Santa school. Now, look, if you're thinking the same thing I am, which is, what exactly does Santa school entail? Is it like a university?
What does it entail?
Does it have
cookies,
multiple classes?
Drinking milk?
Is it like years long training? Is it like a few hours? But anyways, he had been the greatest student to ever come through Santa school. But after he graduated, he put down the beard and left and went to Boston, right? He abandoned Santa-ing and went to Boston. So, of course, our heroine, who needs a Santa, she goes off to Boston to find him. Well, it turns out he's a writer in Boston. And so she goes to this deli and she's like, your dad broke his arm and we need a Santa and you're the only one. He's like, I can't do it. I have renounced Santa-ing forever. And the thing is, he's like, I have to write. I have to focus on my writing. Like, I can't do Santa-ing.
Santa works like 1 month a year.
Exactly. But anyways, but then he's like, and I'm always here in between rides. And she's like, what do you mean rides? Well, it turns out he's an Uber driver. And he goes to this cafe and he like writes until he gets a ride share request. And then he has to go jump in his car and drive off. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's like the worst possible way to write. We're getting interrupted by Ubers. Anyways, so she eventually gets him to go back. You know, he goes back to Santa school and sort of remembers all the things. Anyways, obviously, eventually, he decides. And the thing is, it's never revealed. It's not like what tragedy or horrific event occurred that led him to where he couldn't even be Santa for 10 minutes in the parade. Like, that would be too much for him. But he eventually overcomes that. He becomes Santa. And, of course, he moves back to run the Santa school and realizes he can run the Santa school and write at the same time. And so they end up living there happily ever after.
Wow. Now I've just looked up best Christmas movies of 2025, and I'm basically going to work my way through them like tonight.
Is the Christmas Cup on there?
I don't see it yet. Must be near the bottom.
The Christmas Cup, by the way, was one of those. I'll say this and then we can go ahead and sign off. But one of my squares on bingo is like a job that must begin during
on Christmas.
The so this woman, so the Christmas Cup, it's like these two towns, they compete and they have teams. And so she's the captain of one of these teams. And her new job is supposed to start on like January 2nd. But that's fine because she can captain the team, right? Because the competition occurs on Christmas Day. Well, then, of course, an hour and 15 minutes into the movie, she gets a call, and the boss is like, well, I know your job starts on January 2nd, but we need you here on Christmas Day to go ahead and, like, fill out the paperwork and stuff and get the training you need to start on January 2nd. And it's like, this is the stupidest. This happens in all these Hallmark movies. It is utterly ridiculous to think.
Everyone else shuts down at Christmas.
Right. But you've got to be there to start your job literally on Christmas Day. That's the day. You got to be there. Just wild. Anyways.
this is not a definitive list. I literally just Googled. This is the first list that came up. So
See if I can find the Christmas card. Chris.
sorry, it broke it up. It's good housekeeping. But it was the first one that came up on Google. But I'm going to make my way through it.
Oh, there it is. Christmas Cup. Staff Sergeant Kelly Brandt. See, she's it's funny because obviously the movie's made in Canada. It's very Canadian. It's like the most Canadian movie ever. But they're all Americans, and so she's a Marine, and it's just so funny. It's just great.
Well, I can't wait. So this has been fun, but I'm going to go watch some Christmas movies.
This has been fun. This has been great. Thank you to everyone for joining us for this non-true crime episode. We always enjoy talking to you guys about all this stuff. I hope you enjoyed it too. I'm not going to go through all the stuff. You know where to find us. If you're listening to this, pretty sure you already know who we are and where to find us. So I'll just go ahead and sign off. But until we meet again, she's Alice.
And he's Brett.
And nothing good happens after dark.